The hour of your awakening has arrived. For too long, you have wandered through life accepting limitations that were never yours to bear. You have been taught to work hard, but no one taught you to think rich. You have been told to save pennies while men of power create millions with a single idea. I am here to shatter those chains forever. There exists within your mind at this very moment a force more powerful than all the armies ever assembled, more valuable than all the gold ever mined, more transformative than any invention ever created. This force is your ability to control your thoughts, direct your mind, and command your destiny through the deliberate cultivation of positive mental attitude. I have spent 25 years studying the most successful individuals of our time. I have walked with Andrew Carnegie, conversed with Thomas Edison, learned from Henry Ford, and observed the minds of 500 of the most accomplished men and women in America. In every single case, without exception, I discovered one fundamental truth that separates the wealthy from the poor, the successful from the struggling, the leaders from the followers. They had mastered the art of positive thinking, not the shallow optimism that ignores reality, but the ironclad mental discipline that transforms obstacles into opportunities, defeats into victories, and dreams into tangible results. Your mind is the most powerful instrument ever created. It can lift you to heights of achievement beyond your wildest imagination, or it can drag you down into depths of despair and limitation. The choice is yours, and you make that choice every single moment through the thoughts you allow to dominate your consciousness. But here is what most people fail to understand. Your mind operates according to definite laws, just as precise as the laws of physics. When you learn these laws and apply them with scientific accuracy, success becomes inevitable. When you violate them or ignore them, failure becomes your master. The first law of positive thinking is this: you become what you think about most of the time. Your dominant thoughts shape your character. Your character determines your actions. Your actions create your habits, and your habits forge your destiny. There is no escaping this sequence. It operates with mathematical precision whether you believe in it or not. Every thought you think is a seed planted in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. That soil will grow whatever you plant. Weeds or flowers, thorns or roses, poverty or prosperity. Your subconscious makes no judgment about the quality of your thoughts. It simply accepts them and works to make them reality. If you plant thoughts of fear, you will harvest anxiety and limitation. If you plant thoughts of doubt, you will reap uncertainty and procrastination. But if you plant thoughts of success, abundance, and achievement, your subconscious will work day and night to transform those thoughts into physical reality. Thomas Edison understood this principle completely. Before he invented the electric light bulb, he saw it clearly in his mind. He thought about it, dreamed about it, visualized it working perfectly thousands of times before he ever picked up the first piece of equipment. His positive mental attitude sustained him through 10,000 failures, because he knew with absolute certainty that success was inevitable. Henry Ford revolutionized transportation not because he was the smartest man alive, but because he maintained an unwavering positive mental attitude about his vision. When critics said his horseless carriage would never replace the horse, Ford's positive thinking kept him moving forward. When investors refused to back his ideas, his mental attitude attracted the right people at the right time. The second law of positive thinking is that your thoughts create your emotions, and your emotions determine your actions. When you think positive thoughts about your goals and dreams, you feel enthusiastic, motivated, and energized. These positive emotions drive you to take the bold actions necessary for success. Conversely, when you allow negative thoughts to dominate your mind, you feel defeated, discouraged, and drained. These negative emotions lead to procrastination, excuse-making, and eventual surrender to mediocrity. You have complete control over your thoughts. which means you have complete control over your emotions, which means you have complete control over your actions, which means you have complete control over your results. Most people have this backwards. They wait for good results to feel positive emotions, and they wait for positive emotions to think positive thoughts. This is why most people remain trapped in limitation. The master of positive thinking reverses this process. He begins with positive thoughts, which create positive emotions, which inspire positive actions, which produce positive results. This is the key that unlocks every door, the solution to every problem, the answer to every challenge. But positive thinking alone is not enough. It must be combined with definite purpose, organized planning, and persistent action. A man may think positively about becoming wealthy while sitting on his couch watching television, but he will remain poor. Positive thinking without action is merely wishful thinking. The third law of positive thinking requires that you back your thoughts with faith. Faith is the spiritual element that breathes life into your mental pictures. It is the difference between hoping and knowing, between wishing and expecting, between dreaming and achieving. Faith is not something you either have or don't have. It is something you develop through repetition and practice. Every time you affirm your goals, visualize your success, and act in alignment with your dreams, you are building faith. Every time you choose courage over fear, action over procrastination, and persistence over surrender, you are strengthening your faith. Andrew Carnegie possessed incredible faith in his ability to build a steel empire. When others saw only obstacles, Carnegie saw opportunities. When others spoke of impossibilities, Carnegie spoke of inevitabilities. His faith was so strong that it inspired others to believe in his vision and join his cause. The fourth law requires that you surround yourself with positive influences. Your mind is constantly being shaped by the books you read, the people you associate with, the conversations you engage in, and the environment you inhabit. If these influences are negative, critical, and pessimistic, they will poison your thinking and sabotage your success. You must be selective about what you allow into your consciousness. Read books that inspire and educate. Associate with people who challenge and encourage you. Engage in conversations that uplift and motivate. Create an environment that supports your positive mental attitude. Charles Schwab rose from a common laborer to become one of the wealthiest men in America because he carefully chose his associations. He surrounded himself with people who believed in achievement, who talked about possibilities rather than problems, who focused on solutions rather than obstacles. The fifth law demands that you develop the habit of positive self-talk. The conversations you have with yourself are the most important conversations of your life. They shape your self-image, determine your expectations, and influence every decision you make. Most people engage in destructive self-talk without even realizing it. They tell themselves they're not smart enough, not talented enough, not worthy enough to achieve great things. This negative programming becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that ensures they never reach their potential. The master of positive thinking monitors his internal dialogue with scientific precision. He speaks to himself as he would speak to someone he loves and respects. He encourages himself, motivates himself, and believes in himself with unwavering consistency. The sixth law requires that you maintain your positive mental attitude even in the face of temporary defeat. Every person who has ever achieved anything significant has encountered setbacks, failures, and disappointments. The difference between those who succeed and those who surrender is their response to these temporary defeats. The person with a negative mental attitude sees failure as proof that success is impossible. He uses setbacks as excuses to quit, obstacles as reasons to retreat, and criticism as validation of his limitations. The master of positive thinking sees temporary defeats as stepping stones to ultimate victory. He learns from every setback, grows stronger through every challenge and becomes more determined with every obstacle. His positive attitude transforms failures into education, problems into opportunities, and defeats into comebacks. The seventh and final law is that positive thinking must be applied consistently over time. One day of positive thinking will not transform your life. 1 week of enthusiasm will not guarantee your success. 1 month of positive action will not ensure your achievement. Success comes to those who make positive thinking a way of life, not a temporary experiment. It comes to those who persist through the valleys as well as celebrate on the peaks. It comes to those who maintain their positive mental attitude when it's easy and when it's difficult, when others support them and when others doubt them, when results come quickly and when progress seems slow. I have seen men transform their entire lives through the disciplined application of positive thinking. I have witnessed individuals rise from poverty to prosperity, from failure to success, from despair to triumph, simply by changing the way they think. But I have also seen people learn these principles and fail to apply them consistently. They become excited for a few days or weeks, then gradually slip back into their old patterns of negative thinking. They wonder why their lives don't change, not realizing that their temporary enthusiasm was not enough to overcome years of negative programming. Your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. They design the blueprint of your future, attract the circumstances of your life, and determine the quality of your experiences. When you take conscious control of your thinking and direct it toward positive, constructive, achievement-oriented patterns, you become the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. The time has come to make a decision that will change everything. Will you continue to allow random, negative, destructive thoughts to control your life? Or will you take charge of your mental faculties and use them to create the success, happiness, and prosperity you deserve? The choice is yours. The power is within you. The time is now. Begin today to think positively, speak positively, act positively, and live positively. Your future self will thank you for the decision you make in this moment. Remember, success begins with a positive mental attitude, but it only becomes reality through positive action sustained over time. Think well, act boldly, and persist until you achieve the life of your dreams.